Wolfgang von Trips, Monza, 1961. He was 33 years old, Germany's brightest hope in Formula One, racing for Ferrari in front of a roaring Italian crowd. Von Trips entered Monza just a few points away from clinching the World Championship. Excitement was everywhere. His family, his team, his nation believed history was about to be written. But on just the second lap of the race, as cars thundered down Monza's long straight, disaster struck. Von Trips tangled wheels with Jim Clark's Lotus. In an instant, his Ferrari became airborne, catapulting into the fencing. The car flipped violently, throwing Von Trips out like a rag doll. His body lay still on the track. The wreck didn't stop there. The Ferrari plowed into the densely packed crowd. What followed was pure horror. 15 spectators, men, women, and even children were killed instantly. Dozens more were maimed by flying debris. The screams of panic drowned out the sound of engines. Von Trips never even made it to the hospital. He was declared dead at the scene. His teammate Phil Hill went on to win the race and the championship, but he celebrated with tears in his eyes. Monza was soaked not in champagne, but in grief. Von Trips' death remains the darkest single incident in F1. One man's life, and 15 innocent fans, all gone in seconds. Ayrton Senna, Imola, 1994. May 1st, 1994. The San Marino Grand Prix. The world's eyes were on Ayrton Senna, the three-time world champion who had become more than a driver. He was a symbol of perfection, courage, and spiritual devotion to racing. The weekend was already cursed. On Friday, Rubens Barrichello had crashed heavily, surviving only by luck. On Saturday, rookie Roland Ratzenberger was killed in qualifying. Senna spent that night in silence, shaken. In his pocket the next morning, he carried an Austrian flag, planning to wave it in honor of Ratzenberger after the race. At 2:17 p.m., on lap 7, his Williams car hurtled into Tamburello Corner at nearly 310 kilometers per hour. His steering column had failed. The car shot straight, and with no escape road, it slammed into a concrete wall. The impact was brutal. A suspension arm pierced his helmet above his right eye. Millions watched live as marshals and doctors rushed to his side. For long, agonizing minutes, television cameras hovered over his motionless body. Professor Sid Watkins, F1's chief doctor and Senna's close friend, later recalled kneeling by his side and whispering, "Ayrton, let's not do this anymore. Let's go fishing." But Senna never responded. At 6:40 p.m., the official news came. Senna was gone at 34 years old. Brazil declared 3 days of national mourning. 3 million people lined the streets of São Paulo for his funeral. The world had lost a legend, and Formula One had lost its soul. Roland Ratzenberger, Imola, 1994. The day before Senna's crash, the San Marino circuit had already claimed another life. Roland Ratzenberger, a 33-year-old Austrian, was new to Formula One but full of determination. He wasn't rich, he wasn't in the fastest car, but he had a dream: to race with the best. During Saturday qualifying, disaster unfolded. On a flying lap, his front wing, damaged earlier, finally gave way. At 314 kilometers per hour, the car became uncontrollable. Ratzenberger's Simtek went straight into the concrete wall at Villeneuve Corner. The impact was devastating, breaking his neck instantly. There was no chance of survival. Marshals covered the wreck with sheets. The paddock fell silent. For many, it was the first time they had seen death up close. Ayrton Senna, shaken to his core, cried openly in the garage. He later visited the accident site, kneeling in silence. Ratzenberger's death was overshadowed by Senna's the next day, but his tragedy was no less painful. He had fought all his life to reach Formula One, and just as his dream became real, it was stolen from him. Even Senna, before climbing into his Williams the next morning, placed Ratzenberger's national flag inside his cockpit, planning to honor him. Fate would not allow it. Jules Bianchi, Suzuka, 2014. The Japanese Grand Prix of 2014 was run under heavy rain. Cars were aquaplaning. Visibility was near zero. On lap 43, Adrian Seudel spun off at Dunlop Curve. A tractor crane came onto the track to recover his car, while the race was still live. 2 laps later, Jules Bianchi lost control at the exact same corner. His Marussia slid helplessly off track and collided directly with the recovery vehicle. The impact was horrifying. His car went underneath the tractor, his helmet taking the full force. The cockpit was crushed. Unlike most crashes, the track fell into eerie silence. Commentators were lost for words. In the garage, drivers buried their faces in their hands. Bianchi was rushed to hospital, diagnosed with a diffuse axonal injury, severe brain trauma. He never woke up. For 9 months, he lay in a coma, his family at his side every day. They whispered to him, played music, held his hands, begging him to return. But on July 17, 2015, in his hometown of Nice, Jules Bianchi died. He was 25. His death shook modern F1 like no other. It forced the introduction of the Halo, the cockpit protection device that has since saved Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, and Romain Grosjean. His tragedy was not in vain, but it left a wound that will never fully heal. Elio de Angelis, Paul Ricard, 1986. Elio de Angelis wasn't just a driver, he was a gentleman. Charming, musically gifted, and loved in the paddock, he had 6 full seasons in F1 under his belt. In May 1986, he was testing a Brabham car at the Paul Ricard circuit in France. On a high-speed run, his rear wing snapped. The car somersaulted violently, cleared barriers, and landed upside down. Fuel spilled. Flames erupted immediately. There were no marshals nearby, no fire trucks, no safety crews on standby. His fellow drivers, Nigel Mansell and Alain Prost, rushed from the pits, desperately trying to pull him free. But Elio was trapped inside. He didn't die from impact. He didn't die from the flames. He died slowly, choking on the thick black smoke as he screamed for help. By the time a fire truck arrived, over 10 minutes later, it was too late. Elio de Angelis was just 28 years old. His death shocked the F1 community into realizing that even test sessions required the same level of safety as race weekends. But for his friends, the haunting memory of his final moments never faded. If you found this video meaningful, consider leaving a like and subscribing. It helps us keep telling the stories that matter, and it keeps their memories alive.